What up? I've been blocked these last few weeks on my main channel, and then like a week ago or a week and a half ago on my alternate channel. I'm not finna make a fucking fuck that. And then I deleted a lot of videos I put on my alt that were actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna summarize basically what I was saying, and I gotta be careful with uploading videos that got me doing drugs and shit. Just to remind y'all, like I ain't gonna glorify that shit. You know, make it sound good for the fucking people who finna watch this shit and determine if they're gonna. One more strike and my channel is gone again. My other channel had around like 1,000 subscribers when it got taken down, and this one's like got almost to 800. And it's slow. Like if y'all notice, I don't really put tags or nothing. I'll just put the I'll just upload the video straight up. I don't put tags. I don't really do fancy edits or none of that shit. I don't really know how to do that. But I was gonna let's speak on my I don't really know how to lump certain these chemicals together, but like non-pharmaceutical, mainly doing things that are like entheogenic or psychedelic or something like MDMA or ketamine. I think since I've been back from New Zealand, I've done MDMA like 3 or 4 times in recent. I'll just sum it up since I've been back. A lot of like MDMA use for sure. Considering before I had been deported, I hadn't rolled in fucking months, like almost a year, because of some bullshit. And then just doing like when I initially got back to not the States but to where I was heading to where I was living, I did the whole mushroom ceremony. That's a video I uploaded here about 2 months ago, month and a half ago. Nah, not 2 months ago, month and a half ago. That's a good video. Then on top of that, yeah, I'm a little tired. I gotta try some. What was it? I did some S-isomer ketamine. I believe, first time I remember actually what type of isomer ketamine was allegedly sold as, because I don't really know how much pharmacological like determination R and S isomer have, because really, I don't really feel a difference with the high. I don't do ketamine a lot. I've done ketamine maybe 4 times in my life, but this time I did a shit ton. I killed a gram in a day, which isn't a lot to like people who do it recreationally. But before that, I had initially never done more than 500 milligrams in a day, and like in a day. But it was like I was redosing every hour when I can't was like almost back to baseline, completely came down from the high. Every hour I was doing it, and then at the end I just said fuck it. Ended up doing it all, and that's when you put your knees and your hand between your head in between your knees. That's what I was trying to say. Your head in between your knees. I think I smoked DMT like twice, and I did upload one. I made a lot of videos private just because I don't want to risk getting another strike. Then my shit's fucked up, and I lose a bunch of videos, and I don't even know where the fuck to start again. So I'm gonna try to keep it as educational as I can to an extent, or just not show all that stuff, and just have me talking about it, or do it in a more orthodox manner where it doesn't just look like real ghetto and shit. So, because a lot of these other channels do depict a lot of use and shit, and it doesn't. Like the strike that took down my original channel was for smoking a blunt. Stupid as that sounds, it was for smoking a blunt on a like hour-long video. And okay, so I was talking about my recent shit. I gotta try 4-ACO DMT and tried it for the first time. I think I took about 15 to 20 milligrams. Realistically, more like 15 to 17. Those are not short acting psychedelic, but very doable. I was pretty paranoid about doing it first, thinking it was gonna be a little too intense, and in reality, it felt pretty similar to, I guess, what? It was pretty light. I'm gonna say light, like a Bud Light, like how TCB is kind of like a light psychedelic when you take a little bit of it, and it gets heavy when you start taking a shit ton of it. It's like that, I imagine. I've not taken more of it. It's here somewhere. What was I saying? I dosed it pretty small. I parachuted it, with the jump paper, and that was pretty good. Um, a lot of tactile sensations and things like that because it wasn't to the dosage range where it was getting extremely visual. Um, I was curious to try it. I don't really have too much of an urge to jump back into it, but it's definitely something that's just gonna be like saving it for a rainy day, things like that. And then I smoked DMT twice in these last month and a half, but excuse me, didn't really work the first time. The second time, yeah, and I believe that's the one that I filmed, because I filmed that. I had to do that video twice. The first time, I guess I just didn't take enough of the DMT quick enough or some shit like that. And the second time I did, and people were saying that I wasn't like high enough because I wasn't freaking out, like saying, oh fuck, like freaking out and paranoid. Like I've done DMT a lot. It doesn't really do that. I'm like more in my head, and I do remember I put my head between my knees, and even though my eyes were closed, I remember seeing like a little girl and like a mom walk. It was weird, bro. It really wasn't like a open eye or closed eye hallucination. It was more like very vivid mental imagery or whatever the fuck you would call it. I don't know. But just cause like I've done these things before. It's not like my first time doing DMT and I'm just gonna put it out there for the world. It's fucking, I don't know how many dozens of times I've done it. And I'm not saying you gotta do it that many times to really be experienced. I'm just saying that like the first couple times I smoked DMT, I was like that, where it felt like my whole body was vibrating like you were on a rocket or something, and you feel like that. But I kind of got used to it a little more and more, and then like smoking it at the peak of a mushroom mix, things like that, you kind of start adjusting from being to baseline to getting to where you're going, because that's really what scared me when I first started doing DMT, how you'd smoke it and you kind of blast off. You wouldn't have 30 minutes, an hour to get used to the headspace and shit like that, or the body sensations. Yeah. So it doesn't mean I faked it. I've read a couple stupid comments, like people coming on a channel about drugs to say don't do drugs, it's bad for your health. I'm not saying like they're not, but there's a lot of medicinal things. The mushrooms aren't bad for you, smoking ain't bad for you, and like that's really like like people doing that, probably alcoholics, probably smoke hella ciggies. Like fuck out of here with that. This is for educational shit. Like I'm not saying go out do this shit. This is for real educational shit. Whether you wanna admit it or not, I'm putting stuff out there that really isn't gonna be seen out there. There's not a lot of other, channels run by indigenous people that are talking about psychedelics when it's like our shit. The natural ones, at least. Of course, the synthesized and semi-synthetic ones and all that ain't. Y'all know what time it is, but I think that's just about it. All the other stuff is just like smoking, drinking, like normal stuff, But yeah, that was like the ketamine, the different times rolling, the smoking DMT, the forest. So yeah, that's just about it, and the mushrooms. So that's just a quick summary of what I've been doing on my other channel. If y'all don't follow that one, because that one only has like probably like 100 subscribers compared to this one that's hopefully getting near to where the old channel was. About goddamn time, bro.